If you are considering a relocation to the amazing, to the stunning, and to the ever popular Greenville, South Carolina area, then you've probably been doing your research on the suburbs that surround Greenville. Well, in this video, we are going to cover many of those suburbs, and we are going to talk about which ones may not be a fit for you and why. Let's do it. As always, my friends, my name is Will Sawyer, your friend in real estate here in the upstate of South Carolina, and it's our goal with this channel that we are your #1 resource for all the things that you need to know about your relocation to the upstate. We aim to provide you with the most reliable, the most practical, and the most valuable information that you can find on the internet about the upstate of South Carolina. And if you do decide to relocate to our area, I would love to hear from you. So please shoot me an email at my email below. I would love to meet you and help you and your family relocate to our area. All right, so the first suburb that we'll talk about is the Reidville and Duncan area, which technically a lot of it is in western Spartanburg County. It borders eastern Greenville County. Greenville, South Carolina, and Spartanburg are bordering counties in the upstate of South Carolina. Reidville and Duncan has become a lot more popular in recent years, especially after BMW announced that it was opening up its $700 million battery manufacturing plant in Woodruff. So if you were to live in the Reidville-Duncan area, you're only going to be about 15 or 20 minutes from the battery plant. You also would live only about 15 or 20 minutes from the current BMW manufacturing plant in Greer. So as such, it has become a popular suburb, especially for folks who need quick access to the interstate, whether it be 85 to take you to Spartanburg or take you down to Greenville, and or get to work at BMW or one of its many contractors who call Greenville home. In addition to the BMW plant, whether it be the existing manufacturing plant or the new battery plant, you're also going to be close to the inland port, which is in the upstate of South Carolina. So this is going to cause a lot of tractor trailer traffic. And if you live off of, say, Highway 290, you know that one, it's an industrial heavy place with the Smith Industrial Park, with the inland port. There's a lot of tractor trailer traffic. And feedback that I get from a lot of my clients is that, hey, Will, we love this area. We like the neighborhoods that are in this area, but it seems way too industrial for us. We don't want to live beside manufacturing plants. We don't want to live beside industrial plants. So I don't know if this place is for us. Now, next up on the list is Mauldin, South Carolina, which is just below Greenville, South Carolina. So Mauldin sits in between Greenville and Simpsonville. Now, the negative feedback that I get about Mauldin from my clients is, first and foremost, Mauldin has no downtown. It has no main street. There's no gathering space in Mauldin. And a reason for that, I think, is because it's so close to Greenville, there's really no need to have a main street or a community gathering space because you're only about 15 minutes into downtown Greenville. And the way that Mauldin is set up is that there is no downtown, there's no main street, and there's also a lot of commercial space and industrial space in and around Mauldin. So Mauldin is actually home to the Duke's Mayonnaise manufacturing plant. It's also home on the west side to 3M. There is a lot of industry in Mauldin, and in recent years, Mauldin has become a hotspot for development. So Butler Road, which used to be a pretty manageable corridor there in Mauldin, now at rush hour can be a congestion and traffic nightmare. Butler Road is what connects to Lawrence Road. So if you live in Mauldin, you likely have to travel on Butler Road, whether you're going to or from work. There are several neighborhoods that have been developed along Butler Road and right off of Butler Road, like Holly Ridge. There's also Arden Woods. There's also the Reserve at Arden Woods. There's also neighborhoods like Adams Glen and Hidden Lake Estates that are still being developed. And in order to get to these neighborhoods, if you're coming from Greenville, you gotta get on Butler Road. That'll connect you to Ashmore Bridge Road, which is what all of these neighborhoods are off of. So if you're coming home from work, you're gonna be sitting in traffic for a long time. If you're going to work, you're gonna be sitting in traffic for a long time. And if it's at rush hour on the weekends or during the week, you're gonna experience some traffic. And next up on the list is Greer. So we have talked a lot about Greer on our channel, and Greer sits just northeast of Greenville, right in between Greenville and Spartanburg along Highway 29. Greer is partially known for its really cute downtown that had been redone in the last 10 years. And it's also known, if you go northern Greer, for its mountain views, for Lake Robinson, which is a small mountain view lake. And if you're looking to get away from the heavy congestion, if you're looking to get away from all the traffic and all the noise of everyday life, Greer could possibly be a good spot for you. Now, Greer does span north and south of Highway 29 and even Interstate 85. So geographically, Greer can cover a lot of space. Now, for the purposes of this video, what I'm talking about mostly is northern Greer. And in northern Greer, what you will experience are a lot of winding 2-lane narrow roads. In recent years, there's been a lot of development in northern Greer just because there's a lot of land there. And I've sold many houses in this part of town. And one of the only negatives, in my opinion, about this part of town is these winding, narrow 2-lane roads that you likely will have to drive to get home every day. Even though you do have great access to Highway 29, which is going to have Lowe's and Home Depot and Chick-fil-A and a number of restaurants, and even really quick access to downtown Greer, if you're a resident of Greer, you're going to be, at any given time, based on traffic on Highway 29, maybe 20 minutes all the way up to 40 minutes from downtown Greenville. There's really no way to say how far you're going to live from downtown Greenville because traffic patterns can vary so much along Wade Hampton Boulevard at any given point during the day. All that I know is if that you live in the Lake Robinson area, so if you live generally in that northern Greer area, you're going to be anywhere from 20 to 35 minutes from downtown Greenville. If you go and plan to spend a Saturday or go out to eat or go down for a festival in downtown Greenville, there are a lot of traffic lights on Wade Hampton Boulevard. So if you live in that northern section of Greer, your distance to downtown Greenville is going to vary, and you're going to have a lot of those winding 2-lane narrow country roads to get home. All right, so 2 more suburbs to go, and this suburb that we're going to talk about is Travelers Rest. We've also talked a lot about Travelers Rest on the channel, and Travelers Rest sits just north of Greenville on the way to western North Carolina and on the way to the mountains. So if you like to spend a lot of time outside, if you want a smaller town feel with a little bit less traffic, and you have a healthy budget, then Travelers Rest should definitely be on your radar. Now, some considerations about Travelers Rest are, 1, it's pretty far from shopping. Travelers Rest is a small town, and even though more amenities have come to Travelers Rest in the last 12 months, Travelers Rest is going to be far from, say, Costco, Sam's, Trader Joe's, all the things on Woodruff Road. It's also going to be pretty far from the interstate. So if you need to go to Atlanta or Charlotte or even GSP, the International Airport in Greer, you're going to be a little bit farther than, say, Simpsonville or Mauldin or Greer to the airport, to these big box stores that you might be spending time at every couple weeks. And if that's not a consideration for you, then that's great. You're also going to have limited access to a variety of restaurants and places to go in downtown Travelers Rest. Now, for all of its grandeur and all of its attraction, Travelers Rest is pretty quaint. There is a very cute downtown. It is encompassed by a small main street with a few extension streets off of Main Street, but it's pretty simple, it's pretty small, and that's what a lot of people are looking for. But if you're looking for a more urban lifestyle or a more suburban lifestyle, Travelers Rest may or may not be a fit for you. And lastly on the list is Fountain Inn, and we've talked a lot about Fountain Inn on our channel as well. But there are some considerations about Fountain Inn that you're gonna need to consider if you are thinking about moving there. So Fountain Inn is on the fringes of development. As Simpsonville has grown and as it is expanding, it has naturally gone into Fountain Inn. So we're seeing a lot of development in Fountain Inn. Fountain Inn, due to its location right along the 385 corridor, is perfect for development. And in the last 5 years, it has certainly changed. New schools have come into Fountain Inn, making it a lot more attractive than it was 5 years ago. However, it is far from Greenville. Geographically, it's one of the farthest suburbs from downtown Greenville. If you're going to be working in and around the city of Greenville, or if you're going to want to go downtown Greenville quite a bit, then you are going to be driving a greater distance to get there. And at least for the next few years, I feel like Fountain Inn is going to maintain its small town feel. 10 years ago, Fountain Inn really was not an extension of Greenville. It was just another town independent of Greenville that was somewhat close to Greenville. But now, as Greenville has become more popular and development has expanded, Fountain Inn now is an extension of Greenville. So if you're okay with living in a smaller place that's a little bit farther from Greenville, then Fountain Inn's an option for you. But if you want to be closer to Greenville, if you want to be closer to more amenities, then Fountain Inn may or may not be a place that you consider. So I hope all of that was helpful, and my goal for your relocation to our area is not to regret where you move to. So if you would like to talk about any of these suburbs in more detail, please do me a favor, email me at my email below or text me at my cell phone number below. I would love to chat with you about your relocation to our area in the coming months. And as always, my name is Will Sawyer, your friend in real estate here in the upstate of South Carolina. And until next time, stay safe. Well, this video is going to be about Greenville County, the upstate of South Carolina. Great thing to do and easily in the evening. I'm a local real estate expert here in the area. All the time, we're right behind me is a really cool place called Freight Yard.